Hello, welcome to my channel where I talk about books. I thought this year I want to film more videos, and I thought I'd start by talking about all the books that I got in 2021, which is not a huge number. I watch a number of booktubers and they can bring in, you know, in one book haul video that definitely encompasses less than a year, more than I got in an entire year, which is fine by me. I do not need more books. We have a great public library system, at least where I live. So I'm gonna go through the books that mostly I bought. A few of them were gifts, but mostly I bought them. And I mostly have not read them, but you know, I'm working on it. Okay, so first thing, got them all stacked over here on a table. First thing I got for Christmas in 2020, a Barnes & Noble gift card. And so naturally, I went to Barnes & Noble in January and I got myself a couple of books. First of all, Small Gods by Terry Pratchett. So I am a big Discworld fan, which I feel like you barely know if you've watched my videos, because I've read all of like 2 Discworld books in the last 3 years or something. It's depressing. And I don't know why it is. I think there's part of me that wants to avoid like actually finishing Discworld. Not that I'm in danger of doing that anytime soon, but I don't know, it's just too much, right? And eventually there will be no more, right? I will run out, and that's sad. Anyway, Small Gods I have read before, but I was looking around at what to buy and I saw it and I thought, you know what, I love this book and I want to read it again. And I think it would be pretty great to own, maybe not all the Discworld books, but all the ones I really love. So yeah, it's the one, he's got the little eye patch. I don't even remember why the tortoise has an eye patch, but anyway, this is a wonderful book. I haven't reread it since I bought it, but I definitely will, because, you know, at some point, because I just fucking love this. What's it about? Oh my God. Should I tell y'all? I'll try. So, oh boy. Discworld is a big mess of a series that definitely does not need to be read in order, and Small Gods, from what I remember, has no real crossover with the other books. It's pretty standalone. It might even be taking place at an earlier time period. I don't actually remember what, like, they mention that may indicate that or may not, so I could be totally wrong, but my impression was that this may be taking place some centuries before the rest of the series, because it takes place in a completely different city than most of the other books, and it's about a man who is, I guess he's like a monk or something, of this religion, and one day he comes across a tortoise, and that tortoise, I think it's a tortoise. I hope it's a tortoise. Maybe it's a turtle. I think it's a tortoise though. Anyway, who is actually his god, the god who has kind of accidentally become trapped in this form and is pretty pissed about it. And then there's some traveling, and there's a lot of kind of like talking about philosophy and religion, and I cried a lot, because I always do when I read Discworld, and it's fantastic. So yeah. Now, where am I gonna put these when I'm done with them? On the floor. The other book I bought while I was out that day was Dahlgren by Samuel R. Delaney. This is a nice, thick sci-fi from, when is this from? The 70s, I want to say. Let's check. Yes, 1974. Although this copy is a foreword by William Gibson, so that's another layer of fun. I don't know what it's about really, just that it's a nice fat sci-fi novel by an author I've never read. Delaney, really it's an oversight on my part. There are a lot of classic sci-fi authors that I haven't read, so you know, it's not that shocking. But let's see, it says it's set at a city in the Dun Center of the United States. Something's happened there. The entire population has fled. Madmen and criminals wander the streets. Strange portents appear in the cloud-covered sky. I'm so into this. I want to read this book. Into this disaster zone comes a young man, poet, lover, and adventurer, known only as the Kid. Tackling questions of race, gender, and sexuality, Dahlgren is a literary marvel and groundbreaking work of American magical realism. Very into all that. Delaney, I suppose, is known for Dahlgren, and also he wrote a Hugo, maybe Nebula, I think Hugo though. Hugo award-winning book, Babel 17, I think is what it's called. Anyway, he's written a few things and I'm just like, oh, I want to get into that, I want to get into that. Anyway, this year I'm definitely reading this book because it's on my little short list of books to read. I say little, it's still 20 books, but whatever. Okay, so, flump. What was the next thing that I bought? Okay. I guess I went to Half Price Books, possibly to sell books, because last year was a whole big ass year, and one of the things that happened was my parents sold their house and I bought a house. So there was a lot of getting rid of old stuff going on and selling old stuff, and we did take a bunch of books to Half Price Books. Naturally though, I had to buy some books myself because, you know. So I bought 2 books, neither of which I've read, but let's talk about them. So first of all, this one, Voyage to the City of the Dead by Alan Dean Foster. I pretty much bought it because it's got a real wild cover. See that? And I don't know what it's about. It's like, okay, they go to this planet called Horseye, and it's home to 3 alien cultures, and so these scientists go there, I guess, and they're voyaging down this, like, or up, I guess, this really long river, and they're studying alien languages. They take local guides, they provide for emergencies, but nothing could prepare them for the awesome treachery of the natives or the unbelievable natural obstacles, and not even the natives understood the planet's deepest secret. Okay, like, I'm curious. I've only ever read one other book by Alan Dean Foster, and it was great, so I wanted to get in. I wanted to get into it. And I also just wanted another, like, there's something about this specific kind of science fiction book that just delights me. I love that it's old. I love that it's, like, a classic, like, illustrated cover. It's paperback. Its spine is all split. What's this one from? 1984. Nice. This might be first edition. It says first edition. It doesn't matter. I was just curious, but anyway. I also bought something much sillier. Sorry. A Quantum Leap novel. So I've never read any Quantum Leap novels. A handful of them exist, of course. I have watched Quantum Leap. I thought it was fun. Did I think it was, like, good? Sometimes. Not always. But I thought it was a fun show, and it has the catchiest theme tune. Yeah, so, Quantum Leap The Wall. What a fucking title. You know, honestly, I think they just had this. I picked it up because Quantum Leap caught my eye, and it looks ridiculous. It's 19... And, like, there's several different timelines, I guess. Still haven't read it, of course. Germany, 1961. Okay. A rigid world of dangerous politics and strife. The Berlin Wall is under construction. And Dr. Sam Beckett has leapt into the life of a 6-year-old girl. Okay, color me intrigued. I flipped through it some after I bought it, and there's a lot of stuff in here where they're just like, is she gonna be, like, traumatized by waking up in the body of, like, a 40-year-old man? And apparently she doesn't give a shit, which, like, iconic, but it's just funny. They're like, is this fucked up? And I'm like, is it fucked up that Sam's doing it? I don't know. Whatever. So he's this kid, and then I don't know how the fuck he's supposed to do anything. Okay. And then he leaps again into the adult version of this girl. On the day the wall comes tumbling down. Okay. One of the things I really liked about Quantum Leap actually was how often they would just have the stories be about completely random nobody people who don't matter. You know, that was what appealed to me. Whenever occasionally they would be like, anyway, it's Lee Harvey Oswald time, like, I didn't think that was a good thing. I was like, no, let's not do this, actually. I don't like this. Let's not try to change the course of actual history. That's not why I'm watching the show. But, God, everyone just looks like a fucking mess on the cover of this. Like, Sam needs sleep. Look at him. Look at what, oh my God. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Maybe that's just the art, but he just looks like shit. Okay. Now, maybe I'm taking too long to talk about these books. Shit. Okay. Next. Ugh. Okay, so the next thing is I bought some books at a used bookstore in Sault Ste. Marie because I was on vacation, because basically I was like, you know what? It's been forever since I took a vacation because, you know, the world went to shit and everything. But if I were to just drive up to Sault Ste. Marie for half a week, surely that wouldn't be a problem. And it wasn't a problem. It was fine. But so I went up there mainly because I wanted to see the, what's it called? The Great Lakes Shipwreck Museum in Paradise, Michigan. Listen. But Sault Ste. Marie has a very cute downtown. And one of the things in that cute downtown is a nice used bookstore. And so I got some books. Okay, so first of all, Ringworld by Larry Niven. Yeah, it's one of these SF masterworks, which I think are ugly, but I'm glad they exist, I guess. And it's about like a group of people who explore this artifact that's like this circular ribbon, and it's enormous. I guess it's Ringworld, right? And they're like, what the fuck? And so they send a team of people to explore it. Crash landing forces them on a desperate and dangerous trek across the Ringworld. So that's fun. When is this from? The 80s? 70s? The only 2 decades? 1970! This was first published in Great Britain in 2005. Why did it take so long? Anyway, 1970. Gotta read this. Okay. I also bought, oh, this has something in it. Hang on. Hello. Oh, it's, Jesus Christ. It's my receipt. Island Books and Crafts on Portage Avenue. Okay, anyway. Stories of Your Life and Others by Ted Shang. Yeah, I've never read anything by Ted Shang, but I love a sci-fi short story collection. And the Story of Your Life story, which is the basis for the movie Arrival, as it says. And that's just a gorgeous movie. And I've heard that the short story is also gorgeous. I don't know what else is in here, because, you know, what's this, 2002? Okay. But it's got a few stories. They're not super short. Anyway, I gotta read this. I like the cover well enough. Yeah, okay. Moving on. The third one I bought is something I have read before, but I saw it and I was like, oh, I have to buy this because I love this book. It's still got stickers on it. I should take those off. A Memory Called Empire by Arkady Martine. I love this book. This was my favorite book in 2020, I think. And the illustration on the cover, absolutely ridiculously gorgeous. It's like a throne. And this is space opera, right? At its finest. And it's truly just, if that's what you like, it's so good. Gotta read this again. I gotta read it again because there's a sequel that came out last year and I didn't read the sequel. But I just really want to own both of them. I mean, honestly, I would have preferred to have it in paperback, but I saw it there and thought, you know what? Let's just do it. because it's a used bookstore, because it's on sale, because of that, right? And I'm gonna get into it, and oh my god. Anyway, yeah, so I don't have that much. Okay, what is this about? This is about a woman who is sent as ambassador to the home planet of this vast interstellar empire that is like trying to even take over their own area, the space station that she is from. And there's a lot of like war and things kind of going on far away from the planet naturally. But she's getting immediately embroiled in the politics and also in a bit of a murder mystery because the previous ambassador vanished and was never heard from again. And when she arrives on the planet, discovers actually he died. He died, and they say it was natural causes, and she does not believe them. So there's some curiosity about what really happened there. Plus the addition of just like, first of all, a very cool culture that the author creates for these people. And okay, the dedication says something, I think, like central to this. This book is dedicated to anyone who has ever fallen in love with a culture that was devouring their own. The woman who wrote it is a historian of the Byzantine Empire. So like, she knows from stuff, right? And that the culture devouring their own is very much like what the empire in this book is doing to the culture of the ambassador, but she still has loved since childhood the culture of this empire. She finds it fascinating. So it's like this complicated feeling, right? Also, she has this really cool thing, which is a secret from the empire, but this thing they do on this space station where if you have a particular important role or job, you can be given the memories of all the other people who previously had it. So she is given the memories of the one previous ambassador, or at least what they have leading up to when he left. So it's not super terribly useful in many ways, but it is a really interesting like layer to the story. Okay. Now the next thing. What is the next thing? Oh, the next thing is I have my birthday, so there's like several month gap here, but for my birthday, beginning of December, I was like, you know what? I moved and there's a half price books here that I've never been to, so I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna buy some stuff. And so I did. First of all, another classic sci-fi novel. The Outcasts of Heaven Belt by Joan Devinch. Okay, so I only bought this because of the cover and because it was all of like 89 cents. And I thought, you know what, fuck it, I can have a pretty cover, you know, for that. And then I bought it, and then eventually I read the back after I bought it, but it does actually sound really cool. It's like, ooh, they came from the distant planet called Morningside on a desperate quest for aid from Heaven Belt. Heaven Belt, the fabulous asteroid system that was so legend said as rich as old Earth. But before the Starship Ranger could even explain its mission, it was attacked by the people of the outermost asteroid. For civil war had long since transformed the Belters into isolated societies slowly dying out for lack of technology and natural resources. Crippled, with most of its crew dead, the Ranger soon became a valuable technological prize fought over by everyone in the belt. Anyway, so it sounds awesome. I guess let's see. She has won the Hugo for short stories or a novella or something, like, so not a novel, so I hadn't heard of her. Also, was married to Werner Vinge, who did win for a novel, so I had heard of him because I have like a list of books. Okay, what is this, 1978? Hell yeah. So at some point I'll read this. God, it's such a pretty cover. I am obsessed. Then also, the other thing I did is I found, oh boy, this is a lot. I found a box set of A Song of Ice and Fire, but only the first 4 books. So yeah, I have read A Song of Ice and Fire. I have not talked about it on here because it's been a while, but I you know, I was introduced to the whole thing through the TV show, right, when it started. I think maybe the second season was airing. And watched what existed, and then went and read the books, realized the books are much, much better. Continued watching the TV show, though. It eventually, I felt like, completely lost me at the end of season 4. But I kept watching it because I was following a Tumblr that posted some really interesting podcasts where they critiqued the show heavily. So that I just like, I wanted to know, you know, so that I could listen to the podcast, so that I could judge. But anyhow, I've long thought that I would really like to own the series, and so I couldn't pass it up. We've got Game of Thrones. These are, I don't know, I don't love these covers, but they're my preferred ones, right? Like, I don't want the TV show tie-in covers of really anything, if I can help it. But I just like, you know, not having that, especially for a show I didn't really like that much in the end. For all that, like, the actors were all doing their best. It's not their fault. But, yeah, so Game of Thrones, Clash of Kings, and of course they're incredibly fat and long because they are mass market paperback type. But I like this kind of thing. And I want them all to go together, right? Which means that I need to find one of A Dance of Dragons that is exact same size. So, you know, good luck to me. Storm of Swords, and A Feast for Crows. Yeah, and I got rid of the actual box because I don't need it, but it made it pretty clear that they were being published in these editions in anticipation of the 5th book coming out. So that's why the 5th book is not part of it. Oh, also the descriptions on the back suck. There are things that are actually incorrect, and I find that amusing. Other birthday book. My friend gave me a book for my birthday. She gave me the book Early Riser by Jasper Fforde. This is technically science fiction. It really doesn't look like it, but it is. And I guess the idea is that, like, humans hibernate in this world, and there's a handful of people who are kept awake to make sure everything is going okay. They start having weird dreams. And the dreams start to kill people. And they start to come true. And it's like, what the fuck? Also, the back is written in second person for, like, literally no reason, because the book itself is not like that. Like, no, I am not Charlie Worthing, okay? The character in the book is Charlie Worthing, I guess. I think this guy wrote... God, I don't even know if this is a guy. Yes, it's a guy. He wrote The Air Affair. That's the one. Okay. Which is probably why my friend was familiar with him anyway. But yeah, so I'm going to read this. I definitely need to read this because she gave it to me. That's the birthday haul, if you will. And one more book left. Just one. Which is the one book I got for Christmas. Am I like the least typical booktuber? I'm like, nobody gives me books. I actually usually do get more books for Christmas, but I just didn't ask for any specifically this year. Cause, I don't know, it just feels like, this is stupid, but the only time I really love the books that I'm given are when they're specific books that I asked for. However, I would also love it if everyone would just psychically know what I like to read, get me a book I've never heard of but that I will adore, right? That'll never happen, but anyway. Plus I was kind of like, well, like I just moved, I need house things, I guess, maybe. It doesn't matter. But my dad got me a book. Anyway, American Moonshot by Douglas Brinkley. This is about John F. Kennedy and the Great Space Race. I think my dad probably looked at it and went, she likes US presidents and space. I think this is new, probably. No, it's from 2019, but new enough. Yeah, so it's just, it's very, like, I haven't read it, obviously, but it's long. It's got pictures. A few pictures. Project Mercury. Burp, 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 burp. Here's Kennedy looking at the space shuttle thing. I think, what is this, Gemini? Hey, what the hell? Why did you stop? Yeah, this is probably the space capsule. Friendship 7. Kennedy and Glenn would become warm friends. Anyway, I'll read this at some point. It does sound interesting. Oh, I see. So it's a like a 50th anniversary type, I guess, to tie in with the 50th anniversary that was in 2019. I feel like it was yesterday, but okay. Wow, this guy just looks like tired. He works at Rice University. He's written a number of things. Okay, it doesn't matter. Let's not read the description of the book like while on camera, please. Yes, so those are the books that I got this year, mostly that I bought myself. I say this year, I mean last year, 2021. And I keep track of them in a notebook. And I like to highlight when I have actually read one. And as you could see from that quick little shot, I have not read any of them yet. Including like, okay, obviously I've read a couple of them before, a number of them actually, in previous years. But I want to read these actual copies, right? Like, so it's a little bit silly, but it's like, listen, I want to reread Small Gods, for example, so I'm not going to highlight this until I do. But yeah, that's that. I have no idea how many books I'll acquire this year. I have more room for them now. Back at my parents' house, I pretty much just could keep my books in my room, and I was always running out of space. And now I have several more bookcases, and my sister doesn't have a ton of her own books, so pretty much just room for mine, and we'll see what happens. I'm really not, you know, I'm really not the booktuber who has a beautiful bookcase. I really don't, but now I have to put these back. How many are there? Let's count actually. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 14 books I bought or was given this year. Really not that many. But I still haven't read any of them, so like, did I even need them? Whatever. We'll get there. But yeah, thanks for putting up with me for this.